The defense's presentation highlighted the fact that Democratic members of Congress raised objections to counting of electoral votes in past joint sessions of Congress. To your knowledge, were any of those Democratic objections raised after insurrectionists stormed the Capitol in order to prevent the counting of electoral votes, and after the president's personal lawyer asked senators to make these objections specifically to delay the certification?
So thank you very much, Mr. President, for the opportunity to respond to that. The answer is no, we are not aware that any other objections raised in the counting of electoral college votes, either by Democrats or Republicans, and this has actually been a kind of proud bipartisan tradition under the Electoral College, just because the Electoral College is so arcane and has so many rules to it. I think that my co-counsel on the other side had some fun, because I was one of the people who took, I think, about 30 seconds in 2016 to point out that the electors from Florida were not actually conforming to the letter of the law, because they have a rule in Florida that you can't be a dual office holder. In other words, you can't be like a state legislator and also be an elector. And so that was improper form. But I think that then Vice President Biden properly gavelled me down and said, look, we're going to try to make the Electoral College work, and we're going to vindicate the will of the people. And that's pretty much what's happened. And nobody has stormed the Capitol before, or, as Representative Cheney, the Secretary of the Republican Conference, said, gone out and summoned a mob, assembled a mob, incited a mob, and lit a match. As Representative Cheney said, that all of this goes to the doorstep of the president. None of it would have happened without him, and everything is due to his actions. This would not happen. That is the chair of the House Republican Conference, who was the target of an effort to remove her, which was rejected on a vote by more than 2-1 in the House Republican Conference, when there was an attempt to remove her for voting for impeachment and becoming a leader for vindicating our constitutional values. So please don't mix up what Republicans and Democrats have done, I think, in every election for a long time, to say there are improprieties going on in terms of conforming with state election laws, with the idea of mobilizing a mob insurrection against the government that got 5 people killed, 140 Capitol officers wounded, and threatened the actual peaceful succession of power and transfer of power in America. Now, if we want to talk about reforming the Electoral College, we can talk about reforming the Electoral College. You don't do it with violence.